Hello again. It's pretty cold now, so we're inside again. And I know it's been a little while, but I just wanted to share with you some comments on the wine I'm drinking today. And I don't really know. It's kind of interesting. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but let's. This is one of the wines that I bought from my friend's cellar when he had a bunch of wines and he hasn't been drinking for a long time. So he said, take this off my hands. And we've talked about this before. There's been some really good finds. So this is a Burgundy from 2005, which was really a great year. This is Gevrey Chambertin. So it's really a Côte de Nuit. But it's just a regular, it's not a cru, really. It's a Gevrey Chambertin by Domaine Bachelet, but it's not necessarily the Bachelet you would think. It's not Denis Bachelet, it's Bertrand, B for Bertrand, all the way at the bottom, which is kind of a very small, another small domain, but it's really in the Côte de Beaune, in Marange and Gevrey and what have you, so at the sort of other end. And I don't quite know how they got Gevrey Chambertin. There's not a lot of sort of vintages of this wine out there. There's nothing really recent, so it could be one of these aberrations that maybe they made some for a while. They don't seem to have anything in that area these days. The B Bachelet folks. So interesting. I don't know enough about all the family relations. I couldn't find a link between the two families to sort of, and maybe one of you or somebody like Hani or his friends will be able to decipher this. But I didn't really have very high expectations. I didn't pay a lot of money for this wine. I figured, let's see how it's holding up. And interestingly enough, I opened it yesterday, and then today is a little bit different, but we're going to talk a little bit about this. This color here, as you can see, is pretty sort of not very limpid, not very clear. It's the end of the bottle. It's aged. I don't know if it's filtered or not, but it has this sort of thickness to it that makes you wonder. There was a lot of deposit here on the at the bottom before we finished this, but there's no real lots of bricking or anything like that. On the nose, it's really still got some of that floral Burgundy Pinot, which just I think is amazing for 20 years on a village wine. You have a little bit of alcohol. This is 13% alcohol, so for the time, it's not bad. And I think it's primarily the flower petals, as I said. No orange zest or anything like that. So a little bit of fruit, a little bit of acidity. A little bit of sharpness that I would almost say licorice, but I know it sounds unusual, so maybe not. But, still pretty, nothing that would say, oh, it's overly oxidized or it's, murderized. Or I mean, I broke the cork, so, it wasn't really in great shape, but I didn't see any seepage. The level was pretty good. And yesterday, it was a little bit more close and actually a little bit unpleasant on it almost tasted like it was too past. And then we see how we have that today. The fruit profile is still there. So you have some red cherries, a little bit more tartness, maybe raspberries. And the more you work it, on the palate, the acidity comes out and it's there, but it's really not, it's just not unpleasant. I mean, my experience with some younger Gevrey Chambertin, and maybe they weren't great wines, and it's been consistent, was it always found them to be too acidic. And maybe it's me, maybe it's the age, maybe it was the specific one, but some of them were fine, really nice, village wines. like by Noella and people like that. So I was a little bit hesitant, but I figured maybe with age this thing dissipate. And this here is the case. Really, acidity is actually nice, pleasant, supportive. It develops, as you leave it in your mouth a little more. And then you've got a little bit of that funky, not funky, funny feel, funny taste of like milk chocolate, which again is not something I've experienced in Burgundy before, but maybe because the wine is just getting to be kind of old and relaxed, let's say. Um, so it's pleasant. It's got a little bit of that whiff of the sort of slightly oxidized, slightly older wine, but the acidity is still there. There's the fruit as we on the nose that you can right away get to, and there's a little bit of chocolatey. The finish is really very short, but it's pleasant. There's nothing, no aftertaste. In any case, I just found this to be very pleasant. It was a bit of a find because, again, of the cost and because of the provenance, let's say. And then, you never know. If you have more information on this, I'd love to hear it. Cheers and see you soon.